Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk all about farming, specifically livestock farming in Zimbabwe. Today we would like to discuss about roadrunner production or roadrunner chicken farming in Zimbabwe as a business. So are you looking for a profitable, even a low maintenance poultry business? If yes, think about roadrunner chicken farming. It is one of the greatest opportunity in Zimbabwe. Basically, when you talk of this roadrunner, these are indigenous chickens which are quite hardy and also adaptable to the local climates. They basically require minimal inputs or minimal investment, and they also have a growing market in terms of the demand of these kind of birds. So in this video, I will take you through everything you need to know about roadrunner farming, and also I will drive our discussion through main breeds or most of the major common breeds, and also the feeding part, as well as the marketing, and also some of the success strategies you can adopt. So stay tuned. In the meantime, subscribe and also share with others. So to start with, let's start with the common roadrunner breeds in Zimbabwe. So when it comes to roadrunner breeds, you can talk of many breeds which are available on the market. There are several indigenous breeds of chicken in Zimbabwe, and each comes with its own advantages as well as disadvantages as well as characteristics. First, we can talk of the Bushveld chicken, which is one of the most common roadrunner chicken in Zimbabwe. It is known for its fast growing conditions, and also it is quite disease tolerant or resistant, and it is also an excellent breed for meat as well as for egg production. Then we can also talk of the Saso, which is also one of the most common breed, which is a dual purpose breed that is bred for both meat and also for eggs. It also grows very fast and also, when compared with other indigenous birds. Then we can also talk of the Croiler, which is also a highly productive breed with a good feed to meat conversion ratio, which is essentially very important when you think about meat production of the indigenous birds. We can also talk of the local type of chickens, which are also basically the mixed type of breeds. These are indigenous breeds which are also known for their resilience and also excellence for free range systems. For instance, we can talk of the black astrolabe, which is also one of the most common breed, which is basically a good laying bird, which is a good layer when we want to think about egg laying business of this kind of birds. Now, let's move on to the next aspect, which is the feeding and also the housing aspect. So basically, when you think about a production of this kind of birds, you also have to put into thinking your feeding and also your housing management. You have to understand that proper feeding is a key thing to the birds' health and also the productivity of the birds. You have to understand that roadrunner chickens are basically foragers, which means they can find their own feed within the grasses and also insects and other things. However, supplementing with things such as grains, such as maize and other grains such as barley, as well as kitchen waste and protein sources such as termites, maggots, and other things is very essential to improve growth as well as egg production. So basically, we have to think around supplementing to improve their growth and also their productivity. When we talk of these kind of birds, we can talk of the chicks, basically, which are still the younger birds, which are within. We also have to provide calcium-rich feeds, such that they will have strong eggshells. They tend to need a higher protein for feed, such that they have a rapid growth. Then now, when it comes to the housing aspect, it is also very important that you put up a well-designed structure at a least cost, and also when it comes to the housing aspect, it should be well ventilated and also predator-proof, such that predators cannot come in and attack your birds. And also, it is good that the house protect the birds from extreme weather patterns such as rain and also hot sun. It's also important that you provide other necessary things in the house. For instance, we can talk of the perches, which are essentially the design such that the birds can fly up to these perches and rest there as they exhibit their normal behavior. Then we can also talk of the nesting boxes. In cases where you are practicing this kind of business as a laying business, you have to equip the houses with nesting boxes where birds will lay their eggs. And also you have to provide clean water at all times, which is very essential component of this kind of business or to the chickens. Now, let's move on to the next key thing, which is the market opportunities. So, when it comes to the marketing of this kind of birds, it is very important that you understand the marketing, because that is where the money is. As a result of this marketing opportunities, that is where your finances are hinged on. So basically, your profitability as a farmer here is hinged on the fact of on the number of birds sold per a certain time, or even the number of eggs sold per a certain period of time. So basically, this is where you also have to put your focus. Is you don't have to put your focus on one aspect, or you don't have to focus more on production, and while you neglect the marketing aspect. So you have to think around both areas of production and also the marketing aspect. Now, when it comes to the marketing, you have to understand that the demand for roadrunner chickens is also rising in Zimbabwe due to the organic and also the nutritious meat. Basically, you can sell your birds to the local markets and also other surrounding areas. And you can also think about supplying the supermarkets and butcheries, local butcheries, especially when you have big numbers, profitable in the long run, and also you successfully manage the farm. Let's move on to the next phase, which is the health interventions and also some of the common diseases. So when it comes to all livestock production, you have to understand that roadrunners are just like the same. They are also prone to diseases, although they are quite resilient, and also you are quite consistently in terms of your productivity. You can think about this kind of markets. Then you can also think of direct sales to households and also restaurants, which is also another key important marketing avenue you can adopt. Then you can also think about hotels and also lodges which are offering organic cuisines. This is basically another highly profitable marketing avenue you can adopt, and think about supplying this kind of markets which are also highly profitable. Then you can also think about breeding stock sales for farmers who are also planning to enter or start so be productive, such that you have good numbers to supply during these times, such that you can benefit from these premium prices. Then now let's move on to the capital requirements. So you have to understand the capital or the cost of starting this kind of business. Basically, when you talk of a roadrunner chicken farm, it requires a minimal capital in terms of the amount of money you need as compared to other type of business, such as the commercial broilers or even the layers. Roughly is you have to put into aspect the numbers you need to start with. The amount of capital you need is hinged on the numbers you are going to start with, and also the other costs such as your construction, that is if they are already there or you are going to start with them. Hypothetically speaking, we can talk of maybe day-old chicks price which can range from maybe $1 per chick. Then also in terms of your fees, we are also talking of quite a low cost, given that these are foragers. Then you also have to put a small amount of money in terms of vaccination and also medication, and also think around other costs, miscellaneous, which tend to rise from time to time. It's something you have also to think around and budget for. So here the idea is you have to start small and also reinvest profits for your expansion and your growth of this kind of business. To roadrunner production, you have to think about a good management. It is very essential for your productivity and also your profitability. Number one, we talk of proper record keeping. When we talk of record keeping, it is the act of keeping records of each and everything that is happening on the farm, whereby you track the feed usage and also even the feed purchased, and also track the growth rates, the number of eggs sold, the number of birds sold. It's very essential for your planning, and also to track your progress in terms of your growth, and also to understand if there is an improvement, and also even areas that need improvement. Then we can also talk of the biosecurity, which is one of the key important aspects when it comes to livestock production, whereby you limit visitors to come into your farm, because sometimes they can come and bring diseases to your farm. And also you disinfect equipment, and also which is essential to prevent the spread of diseases. And also the gates remain locked to prevent entrance of people into your poultry house. Key thing, which is selective breeding, whereby you choose the best performing birds for reproduction. You select those birds which have good genes, then you breed those such that they will give rise to chicks which are healthy and also which have good genes. So now, when it comes to this kind of business, you also have to think about consistency, whereby you have to produce very consistently such that you become quite resistant to some of the diseases. They can also be prone to diseases. So basically what we recommend is that early detection is key and very essential and also crucial for the cost reduction related to treatment of diseases. So some of the common diseases, we can talk of the Newcastle disease, which is one of the most common diseases in poultry production. Basically, what you have to do is to vaccinate your birds, especially when you have very huge numbers. You have to think about vaccination at recommended times, especially at 2 weeks and also at 6 weeks of age. Is something you have to think around and plan around. Then we can also talk of fowl pox, which is these basically are available in main feed supplier stores. You have to purchase them and use them. Then we can also talk of the worms and also parasites, which is also quite common, whereby the birds become infested with worms and also parasites such as lice. As a control mechanism, you have to deworm after every certain time. For example, after every 3 months, you deworm the birds, and also you can even dust the birds with antiparasitic powders. These are sold in many shops. Then we also have to adapt regular vaccination schedules and also provide clean houses and also nutritious feeding, which is very essential to reduce the risk of diseases. Now, let's move on to the strategies you can adopt or utilize to be very successful in this kind of business. To build a successful roadrunner farming business, you have to consider some of these strategies. Number one, you have to start small and scale up. Start small so that you learn the business, you learn the management aspect, you learn the marketing aspect. Then you scale from there as you increase your quantities and also you occupy a more market space. The next thing is diversify your income. It is very important that you don't rely on one market income or one avenue, such as selling eggs only. The idea is you have to diversify. You sell eggs and also you sell meat and other avenues, such as selling breeding stock to other farmers, and also even diversify and sell even manure. This is essential to keep a positive cash flow and also to keep income coming from time to time. So it's essential that you have to think around this kind of structure. The next thing is build customer relationships with other people and also other farmers. This is very important so that you have a reliable supply which can increase repeat buyers. So it's very essential that you do that. And also you can also join farmer groups and associations which are essential for sharing information, maybe also accessing training services and also other services such as bulk buying of inputs and sharing market information as well as other market opportunities. We also have to think about using social media and technology to market your birds and also for online wider reach is very essential for you. Now, the idea behind all this is that you have to plan properly and also dedicate yourself to the best management and also practices in this field, and also think around smart marketing. If you do this, you can understand that a roadrunner farming can be a highly profitable venture as long as you secure your market and also you manage your cost properly. Now, in conclusion, I would like to just wrap up and say this is quite a profitable business if you have to put your numbers up there, and also you have to own the market and understand the marketing aspect and as well as the management aspect. So basically, whether you are starting as a beginner or looking to improve your farm, these insights are very important for you and they can set you up for success. So think around everything here and you will be profitable from this kind of business. So don't forget to subscribe and also like as well as share for more tips on this kind of business.